Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Falcon Cabin. I recently purchased this successful workshop from its original owners because I plan to turn this into the #1 workshop in all of Australia. I'm going to do 30 tunes a day. No, wait. 50 tunes a day. I'm going to build facilities better than SpaceX, and all of this while posting a 24/7 non-stop stream of consciousness to Facebook. Now I'm sure you're wondering, how did I come up with this brilliant way of running a business? Well, I can't take credit. I got all of this from the best Subaru workshop Australia, and indeed the world, has ever known. I am of course talking about the Rumble Shack.
The Rumble Shack was started in 2016, and they quickly built a reputation for quality work and extensive knowledge of Subarus. For several years, the business was successful and thrived. They even entered World Time Attack in Sydney and got some pretty alright lap times. But at the end of 2023, they announced that the Rumble Shack had been sold. They thanked the staff and customers for helping make the business as amazing as it was, and they were confident the new owners would continue to grow the Rumble Shack. A month later, a post on Facebook introduced us to our story's titular character, Steve. Steve said he was one of the new owners of the Rumble Shack, along with a man named Nectar, and they planned to make the business bigger and better than ever.
Trust me, man. Next year, big things coming, bro.
Okay.
Next year, I'm gonna 2J swap it.
Everything continued as usual for a while. The new year came and went, and all was quiet. But in January, things changed drastically when the Facebook page announced that the tuner, Dan, would no longer be with the business effective immediately. You see, Dan was actually a contractor. He operated as his own independent tuning business. It seems like there was some friction between him and the new owners. This friction resulted in Dan parting ways with the Rumble Shack, or rather, being fired by Steve. Dan confirmed his separation from the Rumble Shack in quite a professional post, and he got a lot of support. Now sure, this doesn't sound like a big deal. People come and go from businesses all the time. But it was this post about Dan's firing that set the car community off. This wall of text, this magnum opus, caused a stir so large, it even got reactions from people like Mighty Car Mods. Over 1,600 words, delusions of grandeur, and some hilarious lines like, "We will do 50 dyno sessions a day instead of 2. I'm building Red Bull Racing, not the backyard expert, just ask me. I'm setting up facilities to build items for SpaceX. We will be Subaru X." The community weren't sure if they should be amused or confused. How did he plan to do 50 tunes a day? How did he plan to tune Subarus at all when he doesn't know how to tune them and he just fired his tuner? One customer whose car was in the shop waiting to be tuned asked the question. The response from Steve was that he'll learn in 5 minutes what it takes others 5 years. The customer decided they were no longer a customer. From here, things spiraled even further out of control, as Steve adopted a posting style many on the internet call schizo posting. Schizo posting is where a person will act as though they're having a mental breakdown or mental instability, often referring to conspiracies and occult themes in order to seem even crazier. And these threads by the Rumble Shack fit the bill, with posts being made at odd hours and then a stream of consciousness following it up in the comments that range from hilarious to concerning. For example, this post has 654 comments, and a significant portion of these are actually just Steve replying to his own post. This screen recording alone has over 30 replies from the Rumble Shack page. And because of the way Facebook sorts comments, if there was supposed to be a consistent theme or thought process going on here, it's completely lost, as they're spread throughout the entire comment section in no discernible order. This posting style, the overconfidence in the content of what he's saying, and the lengthy rants led a lot of people to draw parallels to Roger Cordia, a famous lolcow in the Aussie car community.
They have no experience like what I have, and it's nothing compared to what I've been doing.
A successful workshop needs more than just one person. It doesn't matter how good you are at building engines or tuning cars, you can't keep the lights on if you're all on your own. You need a team to make this happen. That's why here at the Falcon Cabin, we have a team of the best grease monkeys, ready to turn your clapped out Falcon into the next 1,000 horsepower beast. And I treat them well and pay them right, because like I said, you can't make this work if you don't have people to help you do it.
After Dan was shown the door, some of the mechanics at the Rumble Shack decided they weren't very happy about that. And then suddenly, the Rumble Shack was looking for 10 new mechanics to start ASAP. Maybe it was to help do the 50 tunes a day. Or maybe it was because some of the mechanics quit. One of the mechanics partners left a comment that suggested the mechanics pay actually wasn't going to be close to what the Rumble Shack was suggesting it would be. Steve hit back, saying he'd offered everyone in the shop an additional $5 an hour out of the kindness of his heart. But then in the same comment, he said one mechanic was being paid $35 and wasn't worth that much, and so the other asking for $40 was out of the question. In Sydney, the average mechanic wage ranges from $30 to $45 an hour, so we're haggling over totally average pay rates.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
While talking shit publicly about the workers. But his hubris went even further when he suggested that future employers would see this thread and not want to hire these mechanics based on how they had left the Rumble Shack. As the days went by and Steve kept posting, the mocking from the community continued. Someone even created a parody page where they made their own versions of the rants that were almost indistinguishable from Steve's. He really wasn't helping himself either, with the way he was acting as though he's some kind of genius that knew everything and could outsmart everyone in the comments. He didn't help the mocking when he suggested he was going to extract data from Facebook and send it to the police, his lawyers, and Facebook themselves.
My name is
Steve.
I'd like to report a crime.
And also, he was going to give this list to Subaru businesses and suggested they should stop doing any business with these people ever again.
I'm noticing a pattern here. When business owners do something silly online and then suffer the consequences of their actions, they get mad and they threaten legal action to try and silence their critics. I think there's a word for that.
Eventually, the attention began to dry up as the community got bored of watching the train wreck unfold. The Rumble Shack page went quiet for almost 2 weeks, until late February when finally an actual business-related post was made. The Rumble Shack announced that they could now repair CVT mechatronic systems. There were some bait comments, of course, and Steve made the mistake of biting a few times. Clearly, it was still easy to rile him up, and he didn't know how to handle the obvious trolling. The next post was a bit out of character. This time, a video showing Steve pulling down an engine. It's here you can see the damage that had been done to the workshop's reputation, because the comments are primarily focused around whether or not the Rumble Shack can even build engines, do tunes, and whether Steve is actually a qualified mechanic. He points out that, actually, the Rumble Shack has never had most of the equipment you'd need to do engine rebuilds. In the past, they'd go to a different shop for the machine work. Nobody seemed to care about it then, so it's only now that it's a problem for people. This is a fair point. If the only thing that's changed is the staff, why do people care about what machinery they do and don't have? Oh, right. It's probably because of the absolute mess he made of the brand's reputation when he went on that posting spree. At some point, clarity finally hit, because the rambling posts that kicked this whole drama off were deleted, and the Rumble Shack Facebook page went quiet. Meanwhile, the former staff, maybe thanks to Steve blessing them with good luck with future employment, were doing just fine. In 2025, Dan rebranded to Upspec Performance and opened his own workshop. He hired Carlos, one of the former mechanics of the Rumble Shack. They entered World Time Attack and got into the top 10 in their division. I guess despite having a shit attitude and turning up when he wanted, Dan knew what he was doing. Because judging from the sheer number of customer cars he posts, it seems he was doing very well. At least a lot better than our very wise and humble friend Steve. Because in April 2025, the inevitable was finally announced. The Rumble Shack would be closing, citing a massive rent increase as the final straw. Assets like hoists were sold off, a few more insults were thrown around in the comments, and barely 16 months after being purchased, the Rumble Shack closed its doors for the last time.
An unfortunate lesson in how all publicity is not in fact good publicity, because it turns out when you act kind of crazy online, people are going to tend to think that you're actually crazy and not want to bring their car to you. I just wonder how his original business partner feels about all this, because we heard about him at the start of the ordeal and then didn't hear from him at all throughout the entire thing, and now the business is closed down. Anyway, I gotta go because apparently something I posted at 3 a.m. has made people mad, and now they're canceling their bookings, and I don't have a tuner, and I have to tune cars, and I don't know how to tune cars, but I'll figure it out. It's okay. If you liked this video, go check out some of our other videos about Aussie car culture, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I gotta go.